What's up, everybody? So, a couple things. I got the Marshall JCM 900 running, but before I get into that, I did think about the doing lessons. So I'm gonna take maybe at most 10 people. So if you're interested in lessons, I'm gonna leave my email down in the comments and just contact me through the email if you're in the South Florida area and you want to come here and learn about gear, and I'll get you on a program with practice and playing, so that there's a balance and stuff like that. Probably $40 an hour. So if you're interested in that. Second, I'm running the GP into the Marshall 900. Why? Because I can. No. Just because a lot of people ask. Second, that lick sounded a lot like Lynch, and this is what this is about. Anyway, I did fix the guitar jack. See, no more play. You don't hear it popping or anything. Dokken released a new song called Fugitive. Fugitive. For me, I'm glad he's able to still do what he likes to do. But it's just a generic song for me. And I'm going to tell you why it's a generic song. And it's because the guitar player, John Levine, does he suck? No. But he sounds like a carbon copy of Lynch. He's fast, and he does a lot of pentatonic. He does all the Lynch licks, He does them all. And that's a problem for me. Why? Because you're John Levine, not George Lynch. Your last name is not Lynch. Mr. Levine, get your head out of your ass and play like you. Because what you're doing, I don't know if it's Don pushing you that way, but you've hindered his musical career. You stalemated his writing. So now it's just the basic, generic. You sound like Lynch. I hate to say it, but you're a carbon copy. Do we need another Yngwie? Do we need another Eddie Van Halen? Revolutionary, yeah, but even Eddie changed. And here's the difference between Dokken and the other bands, like a David Lee Roth. David Lee Roth was smart enough, even though Becker wrote most of the first album with Yankee Rose and stuff, he let Vi play like Vi. He's got a hot guitar player, let him play like himself. Did he try to play like Eddie Van Halen? No. At that time, was he as good technique-wise as Eddie? Oh, absolutely. Vi's a beast. But he didn't sound like Eddie. He let him play like Steve Vai. And then Whitesnake, David Coverdale, another smart man. Did anyone play like Sykes? Adrian Vandenberg didn't play like Sykes. Vivian Campbell didn't play like Sykes. And then Vi got into Whitesnake. He didn't play like Sykes. They let these musicians, singers who own the band, they're smart enough to know to take your career to another level. You can't carbon copy what you're doing. You can have the same kind of formula and say I like writing like this, but I need you to advance my musical integrity a little bit. So maybe you add the chord, but you play more like that. So you add some of the Lynch sounding chords because you like that sound as a singer. But play like yourself. Ozzy's a great example. When Randy Rhoads died, you got Bernie Torrane. Now Bernie was trying to play like Randy, and he had a similar style, and he even looked like him. It was a big mistake because he got booed. But then Brad Gillis came in, and people liked him from Night Ranger. Sounded nothing like Randy. He was all tremolo and squeals. Totally different guitar player than Randy, and it worked. And then Night Ranger worked, and it was great, and it was a fresher breath air. But same thing, when he found Randy, he wasn't looking for a Tony Iommi. Randy didn't play nothing like Sabbath, and that's how his career advanced. And then he found Jakey Lee, another great guitar player. He let Jake play like Jake, and then he let Zach play like Zach. Same formula songs, but they were smart enough to know, let these guitar players play like they want to play a little bit, because I'm going to get bashed for trying to sound or find somebody like Randy that's an exact carbon copy. Now for me, Levine is an exact carbon copy. He does all the same licks, and a lot of the stuff is all pentatonic. He's not playing anything different, and that's how George plays. You know, George is a lot of pentatonic stuff, you know, with the, you know, where he's playing here. Here, let me turn this. So, here. He does those licks all the time, but you can throw the benefit. Throw some of your original stuff in there. Don't be an exact copy. It's nauseating to me. So, you know, and there's a million guitar players that can mimic George. But why would you do that? I don't understand. The song, it's just basic Lynch chords. You know, there's no throw the chord in with some kind of riff or something, for God's sakes. So, my advice to John Levine, get your head out of your arse and play like John Levine. If you can't play like John Levine, get off the stage. Really, that's my advice. I want to see a new guitar player with a fresh ideas playing Dokken songs. Now, when you play Dokken, yeah, great. Great. But then when you're playing your song, I don't want to see. I want to see. Play something different. Stop playing George's licks. If I go see, I don't know, who's got a new guitar player? I don't know. Black Oak, Arkansas, right? Not one of those kids is in that band, wrote any of that music. It's basically a tribute band. And it's great. You're playing all the Black Oak, Arkansas, you know, and if you're gonna do the slide stuff, do it all. But if you write any new songs, play like yourself, you know? Whatever your style is, play like that. That's the whole point of you playing guitar, not to be somebody else. So that's my gripe about the song. It's called Fugitive. You can watch the video on YouTube. The video's a little weird. I give him kudos for going through all that problems with the cancer and the surgeries. Great for him. But I mean, the song is subpar. Again, let me show you the cleans in here. So again, if you want to go in here, now that's a D out of it. A minor. A minor is C major. Again, that's how you find your keys and everything. So, again, if you want lessons, I'm going to put my email in the comments. Just email me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. My review of the new Dokken song is what Bon Jovi said, except for the love. You give 80s a bad name. Only because you're mimicking old stuff that is subpar to what you should be doing. I don't think you should just copy and do subpar music. I think you should advance your career and write newer, more modern stuff with the old sound and mix it in there. That's my opinion. And I'm not a big fan of John Levine, only because he's got it in his head that he has to play like George all the time. And that's a big no for me. If let's say Van Halen got back together with David Lee Roth, Michael Anthony, and Alex Van Halen, and they called me up, I would do my best to do Eddie justice for all his songs and play it note for note, sound, everything. And every night I would come out and say, this show is dedicated to Eddie. He was my idol. I'm not Eddie Van Halen. I will never be as good as him. He was an innovator. He is why I exist. So kudos to Eddie, And then if I had written some newer stuff, I would throw that Van Halen-esque sound in there, but maybe play like me with my weird stuff that I do that you guys have seen now on my channel. But why would I do all the Eddie exact tapping licks and mimic Eddie on new written stuff? I would want to get Dave maybe and Van Halen back on the radio or with Sammy and write new stuff based on the same style, but maybe new upgraded chords and a little bit different techniques, and I would play like me. It's like Sammy Hagar's guitar player, the black guy, I don't know his name, but he does some of the Eddie stuff, but he has his own sound, and he doesn't sound like Eddie to me, even when he plays Eddie. I don't think that's a bad thing, but I respect that a lot more than somebody who sounds exactly. How do you not have your own identity as a guitar player? That's the whole thing of music, to express yourself, not to express someone else's ideas. I don't know. It's very weird to me. But I think John Levine should just quit. It's a paycheck for him. Again, it's like these YouTube channels, and we'll talk about some more of these YouTube channels that I've seen. One of them was a channel that I like, and I actually commented and said, stop with the clickbaiting. Guitar is a win for music or something like that. He found a $35 guitar that could be worth millions, which we all know. If you're a guitar collector, even if you buy guitars, you have cell phones that you can Google. Fender Starcaster, they're all over eBay, they're all over Reverb. It's not worth crap. So it's a clickbait. Oh, it could have been worth millions. No, it couldn't have, because that's just your title to get views. And when you do that to me, and you're just promoting something to get like views, I've lost all respect and integrity for your channel, because now you got caught up in the money grab game, and you're trying to get as many views as possible, and it's a horrible thing for me. And guys are running out of content, you know. Robert Baker's another guy. I love his channel, and I like the way he plays a lot, believe it or not. He's not an incredibly technical player, but he plays with feel. He's got like a really good feel. I saw one of his, why he doesn't play his PRS anymore, you know. And he's talking about, well, I have other guitars with other tones. No, you don't. That's what you think. And that goes back to the whole feeling thing. So you just heard the JCM 900 straight in with the GP 200. You've heard the GP 200 in this. You've heard the GP 200 in the Splong. Feelings and what you think are actually the sound or tone is not close. You know, you might change your sound because you might be playing blues, so you take some of the gain off, but your tendencies are still to play the same, just that you're backing off the shred part. But again, why would you compromise your playing? And like, if I play blues, I'm still going to shred on the blues. I'm going to add more bluesy licks just because I'm in the blues. I might hold bends more screamy notes, but you know, I'm still going to shred it. You know, why change my style? That's who I am. So don't ever don't change who you are to fit something. You play it and you make it fit you. That's one of the best things. When I grew up, my instructor told me, he said, I'm going to teach you everything I know. And then when I'm done, I want you to forget everything I taught you. I was like, huh? I was a kid. Now I understand. You don't want to play like him. You want to play like you. That was like the first thing that he ever said to me, which was genius. Now, you know, looking back probably 40 years ago, you know, and he's right. And he was a great guitar player, and his name is Don West. I don't even know if you have videos up there. He played in a band called Rockestra. But he was a great guitar player. He was in the jazz and fusion. And that's how I got started. You know, I was like in, I don't know, elementary, middle school. And I got his, I don't even know how I met him, but I ended up learning jazz and fusion stuff at a young age. But again, a lot of these channels clickbait and they lie to you. It's kind of like, you see there's no plug in the front of this amp, but it was on. Everything was going in the back. Now go on to a Eddie Van Halen. He's got like 3 or 4 stacks and all the amps are on, but you don't see nothing plugged in. It's because they're not using any of those heads. It's all make-believe. You might have 1 or 2 cabinets up there hooked up, you know, but his heads are in a case like this. Those are called touring cases. So his heads are in a head case off to the side where his tech is, so if something goes wrong, he's not climbing up on the stacks. It's all to the side. But, you know, again, people have a different perception of what it is. It's like somebody saying, I'm like, Retcho, I'm going to tell you what the pros do. How do you effing know? You're not a pro. You didn't do no world tours. You haven't recorded for like artists that I have. Like, I've done songs for Luke Bryant and other artists. I'm not going to get into all the artists, but you haven't done that. So how do you know what the pros do? What pros are you around? You know, Tim Pierce and Rick Beato, and that's the only reason why your channel is popular. Even though I like some of his content, he got off on the money grab thing like everybody else, but that's besides the point. So just be careful. It's good to watch YouTube videos and get different influences, but you got to take it for a grain of salt, because a lot of these guys are after this. Like I said, no one's going to say, you know, hey, I got this guitar it's the greatest thing since sliced butter. It's amazing. The best guitar. No, I don't tell you what guitars to buy or what amps to buy. I think the GP200 is just as good as a Fractal, especially for the money. I think it's better that way. Why would I have an F9? Do I need 9 patches? I got 4. 2 cleans, a rhythm, and a lead. And then I have options inside the patch. For 300 bucks, again, go back and listen to all 3 of the channels, all 3 of the videos with each one of these with the GP run into the FX loop. It sounds the same. Sounds the same. Heads don't affect your playing. You affect your playing. It's all in your hands. So that's the best advice I can give it everybody. So again, I'll put that link, my email in the comments. So peace out. I know it's a long video, but we went over a couple things. All right? Peace.